Greg Tarzan Davis worked as an elementary school teacher, and then he said, I realized it was time to change careers after preaching to my students that they should follow their dreams no matter what. And he did finally follow his dream, and now a Top Gun movie and 2 Mission Impossible roles with Tom Cruise. He is here with us today on Message Meg to tell us all about his dream. And we're also going to bring in another New Orleanian to talk to you, but welcome. It's nice to have you home.
Thank
home,
you.
Huh?
I love being home. The few times that I'm actually able to come here, I try to fit in as much as possible. So I'm glad that I was able to sit here and talk with you.
Absolutely, because this is a true New Orleanian. I asked you what time would be best, and you said I couldn't come at this time because I got to get together with my mom and them and the whole family. Huh?
Yeah. Listen, so when I come in, because it's hard to visit everybody, so I'm like, hey, here's the group message. I'm gonna be here. I'm at my mama's house. Whoever can come by, let's go. Let's do it. So we're gonna have a little game night and some food.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, so I last night went to see the new Mission Impossible, and I brought along. Let's bring in Trevor Norris, who is an influencer on TikTok. Yeah, another New Orleanian. And we both watch it, and I have to apologize to Trevor because, and you said you saw me doing this, I was hitting him the whole time, hitting him, covering my eyes, and he was just sitting there like, oh, who is this older woman? What is happening? So, you said you love to see the audience reaction.
Yeah, so I've seen the movie 5 times already. Yeah. I've been around the press tour all around the world promoting the movie and sitting in with audiences. But now that I've seen it so much, I like to watch the people's reactions. That's why we make movies for the big screen, so that you can have that collective reaction. So I know when certain things are going to happen and how they're going to react. So I'm like, okay. Is that resonating with you? Yes, it did. You laugh. Oh, okay, you're ducking like you were like, ah!
Oh, I did have to cover my eyes. I knew he was going to get out of it, but how was he going to save the world? Literally, yeah. But, Trevor, you were cool. You were sitting there cool. You were recognized by a lot of the students who were there. What was your reaction? What did you want to ask Tarzan?
It was very, first of all, I grew up watching him and everything on Vine days all the way back when I started. So it's crazy just to see the growth of everything. But even now movies, it was that movie. I was just okay. One of these people are gonna die. I was like, who's gonna die first? That was just like just trying to see the reaction of everybody else to target who's gonna die first, and I'm like, okay, nobody died. But
we'll spoiler alert. We better not spoil.
Nobody who I thought was gonna die. No,
okay.
Everybody dies.
Yeah, well, some people do die, but I have to say, can I say this, Tarzan, that I wasn't sure at one point if you were gonna make it, and the theater was full. And when the outcome happened, I was the first one who started cheering. All right, well let's first talk about one of my favorite stories, and I know Trevor doesn't know this story, is when you were on public transportation in LA and you got the phone call that you were going to be in Top Gun.
So I had just finished filming this small bit of this role in a movie called Call of the Wild. And I had known I auditioned for Top Gun before that. That's what led to the auditions. And I had 3 or 4 auditions prior to receiving the call saying I booked it. So I had wrapped up on the movie. And I'm sitting there on the bus, and I have all the people around me, and I get a call from my agents and my manager. And they don't say anything, they just play the Top Gun theme song. And I'm geeking out, but there's people next to me, and I'm like, oh.
You can't scream.
No, I can't scream. And the lady next to me, she looks, and she starts scooting over when I'm trying to hold it in.
Who's this weirdo?
Yeah, but that was like, you hear those stories like Tyrese running to the audition, but he came late and whatnot, and to get that call, I was like, wow, I think I finally made it.
Yeah. But okay, the first Mission Impossible, but then they call and they create this role in this new Mission Impossible, number 8, by the way, A Day of Reckoning. They create it for you. They write it for you.
Yeah.
But you played it cool at first.
Yes, I played it cool. So here's the thing, and this is what I tell people. You never know who's watching, so you always want to put your best foot forward. And the long story short, on Top Gun, I had an idea of what my role was going to be. It wasn't that initially. And I was like, okay, I can be upset that this role isn't what I thought it was going to be, or I can just show up every day, learn from the people that are the greatest in their profession and just give my all to it. And I decided to do that. And then I got a call on set, like McHugh and Tom, they came up to me and they said, hey, buddy, guess what? You're about to start flying. Get ready to start training. And I was like, whoa, so my role expanded in that while on the film, because I wasn't supposed to fly before. And then after filming, I get a call from Tom and McHugh, and they're like, hey, buddy, what's up? And I'm like,
The director.
The director. Christopher McQuarrie is the director. Tom Cruise is
Tom Cruise, right?
Tom Cruise. No, there's no explanation needed. But I get a call from them, and they're like, hey, what you doing? I'm like, nothing, chilling, da da da. And they're like, well, we want to talk to you about Mission Impossible 7 and 8. And I was like, I'm listening. And I tried to play it cool, and they told me that they wrote the role for me. They said they love what I did in Top Gun. And that's when I say, everybody's always watching, and you have to give your all to it. They were watching, and I didn't do what I did in order to try to get Mission Impossible. It just happened because I showed up every day and gave 100%. But they said, we know you're from New Orleans, and Degas, who is a French artist, the French heritage and stuff. They were like, we don't know what the role is, but we want you to be a part of the franchise. And I tried to play it cool, and I was like, okay. But then I lost, and I was like, hell yeah, I want to be a part of it. Yeah.
Yes. Trevor, what question do you have for Tarzan? Like, what was something that stood out to you in the movie?
In the movie, well, I already talked. I need to not spoil it, but I love like the progression of the role, because in the beginning it was like calm and everything, but as it progressed, you became a more like, I'm gonna be doing everything in this film. I was like, okay, he's not gonna come back. I'm like, oh. It was like, okay. But then as it progresses, it gets more and more action packed and fight scenes. The typical just fight scenes and everything. Seeing who's gonna do what, and I just love seeing it. I don't have any questions. I missed out on a couple of last ones. So I got to go back and just watch them. But I just like it's interesting how long it's been going, the whole franchise.
It does make you want to go back, because I haven't seen the other ones. It makes me want to go back and see the different things. But I get what Trevor's saying. You think, okay, big scenes, suspense. Okay, then you get to rest a little bit. Then maybe another big scene. It was big scene after big scene after big scene after big scene. And the adrenaline never stopped, okay?
No, they're good at making movies to keep people on the edge of their seat.
Yes. And it was a longer than maybe most movies, but you didn't even realize, because it moved like that, So you've been around the world. Well, first of all, shooting 5 years, these 2 movies.
Yes.
No sets, no sound stages. No. You went to all these, South Africa, the Arctic. Tell me about that.
So over the 2 movies that we did, I had never been. I've been to Mexico. I've been on a cruise and stuff like that, but I had never been really out the country, across the water. So when I got hired for this role, and this is how these things work. They gave me the call, I want to say maybe like the last week of August, and they were like, hey, we booked your ticket, you're flying out September 1st. And I was like, oh, okay, let's go. And I touched foreign soil in Europe for the first time. So I've been to...
Really?
Yeah, we shot these movies in London and Italy and Abu Dhabi and South Africa and Germany. We shot all over the world. And, I've always wanted to make movies to travel the world, and to be able to do that, it's like, man, this is a dream come true.
Yeah, a kid who went to Carr, grew up right here in New Orleans. And what was your favorite city? What did you like?
What was my it's really hard, because I love them for all different reasons, and I'm spending 3 to 4 months at a time in these different locations. I mean, I enjoy South Africa. Cape Town was really nice.
It's pretty?
It was pretty. It's gorgeous. The water's amazing. The people are amazing. And also I'm meeting all these different people across the world with different cultures, different backgrounds, and I really get to see what the world is like. It's not just New Orleans, We're so strong, we have such a strong culture. I like to tell people, they're like, oh, where are you from? You're from Louisiana? I'm like, no. I'm from New Orleans. I'm not from Louisiana, because I say we're our own country.
Well, we are, because our heritage is different than anywhere else.
So I'm like, we're our own country, but we think like this is it. You know what I mean? Especially when you grow up here, you're like, oh no, I don't need anything else. But man, to step out and see what the rest of the world is like, I was blown away. Still.
What do people think about your accent? Does the New Orleans come out every now and then? I remember once I was recording for a story I was doing, and the photographer said, you just said the word arteries. And I said, I never said arteries, darling. I say arteries. And he goes, no, come back and listen. Does New Orleans slip out every now and then?
Yeah, so I cannot speak to my family, like when I'm filming, I can't speak to them or my friends because the hearing it brings it back. And I paid a lot of money to lose this accent. I paid a lot of money to try to like bury it down. But some things that I say, like I didn't know y'all was a thing that we only said until I got out there, and then they're like, oh, you said y'all. Yeah. It's all the British like, oh, you said y'all.
Yes.
You know, so they enjoy that.
Yeah, but you don't. Do you say darling or baby? Come on, baby.
Yeah, I say baby. Darling is my favorite thing to say. I'm like, hey, darling, how you doing?
It's
darling,
endearing.
child. You know, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Or saying ma'am. I didn't know it. I'm like, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. You know.
Yes.
And the women like that. Don't call me ma'am. Not in a mean way, but like, don't call me ma'am. I'm young. And I'm like, no. That's just what we say.
Respect.
That's
right. It makes them feel old, but here it's about respect. So one of the things I noticed, and Trevor, you noticed this too. We walked into that theater, and this is so you, Tarzan. You had invited LSU students, NOCA students, CAR students, young people who want to be actors and actresses, and you brought them in because you want to still give back and help. You that just really touched me. And Trevor, did you notice that all the young people who he was mentoring them as we were there watching the movie?
Yeah, it was a lot. I knew a lot of the kids were from the acting schools, and then you were talking to them at the end, and they were just like, I loved it, just seeing that this could be their future. I mean, even as a social media person that I am, I grew up watching him, so it's the same thing for me. It's just like just seeing people that you grew up watching or are familiar with just grow and expand their life, and it's not just New Orleans or the South. There's just, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. But you gave back too, and I think a lot of people have this image of, oh, you go and you make it, and you forget home, but you bring home into the fold, and those kids were loving hearing from you. Tell us a little more about what you told them. Why that's so important to you?
So it's important for me because, like I always say, I never had that growing up. Nobody ever came back and said, hey, you want to be an actor, let me show you the way or stuff like that. What we get in New Orleans is like athletes. We see a lot of athletes come out here. We see rappers. We have one of the best rappers, alive, Lil Wayne, to do it. So those are the directions that we want to go, but not everybody gonna be an athlete. Not everybody gonna be a rapper. Right. And I want to be that person that I didn't have when I grew up to try and show them like, hey, you can do this, because we face a lot of rejection in this career, but not just in this career, not just in this profession, but any profession. I want to show people, not just in the acting entertainment industry, that in any field, like if you set your mind to it, you can do it. So me doing this is a small part of what I plan on doing in the future. It's just something small that I'm able to do right now with the limited resources that I have. What I plan on starting in the future are 2 nonprofits. One called Perfect Your Craft, and one called Perspective is Everything. So it's PYC and PI. And the Perspective is Everything is really just taking kids around the world so that they can see, open their minds. Because when we don't see something, we think it's impossible to do it. So me doing these screenings for all of my movies is saying, like, I literally went to CAR. I literally went to LSU. I've been to these acting classes or I got turned down by some of these acting classes. And now I'm here, you know what I mean? So I was in your position, and now I'm here, but it's all about just, going after it.
Yeah, what was the story you told about someone who said,
Was it Anthony Bean?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
What was it?
So basically my grandma, it's a long story short, my grandma took me to see his plays, and I was just blown away by what these kids were doing. It was like a 504 play, I think it was like After Katrina or something, and they were just on stage, and I'm like, wow, they have superpowers. I genuinely thought the kids on that stage had they're older than me, but I thought they had superpowers. I said, Granny, I want to do that. And she was like, okay, you want to do it? I know Anthony Bean. We're going to go talk to him after. I said, no, Granny, no. I don't want I'm just saying later down the line, I want to do it at some point. So when the play ends and she pulls me up and she's like, Anthony Bean, my son wants to be a part of your thing. And Anthony Bean said, okay, well, do something. And I don't know what.
You were a kid.
I was a kid. I'm like, what do you mean we do something? And he was like, do something. And I'm all shy, and I'm just like, I don't know. And he looks at me. He's like, yeah, he's not ready. I don't think he's going to be an actor. And I was like, okay. And I was peed off at my grandma. And I was like, you just ruined my one chance to be an actor. I was so upset. But you know, looking back on it when I decided to pursue it again, I was like, I needed that. And that moment, that experience had showed that rejection was like, okay, I questioned, why was I so scared? What should I, and I said, I will never be in that position again where somebody say, hey, do something, and I'm not able to do it.
You'd be prepared.
I'm always prepared.
Tarzan, please tell me your grandmother is still around to see your success.
Yeah, she was there last night.
Oh,
she
good.
The first one. Look, they came out to New York. My grandma was like my number one supporter.
Yes.
My mom, my grandma, my sister. That's like my fan club right there. But yeah, my mom, my grandma and them, they came out to New York. To experience the premiere. They've been at every premiere so far since I've had it.
Of course, they're so proud. One of the things I loved, you said that Tom Cruise taught you the audience always comes first. What do you mean by that?
You know, a lot of people, and I guess once you get into the industry, you would understand like some movies are made for their own purposes. Like, oh, I'm gonna make this movie because I wanna make it. But we make movies to entertain the audience. Like, you know, people are paying their hard-earned dollars to go see it, so why not entertain them? And he's always conscious of that. And what he told me was so impactful for me. He said, I don't make movies just for, you know, people like me. I make it for people around the world. And I want to make sure that this particular scene and this line and this facial expression resonates not just with America, but around the globe. And that's what makes him a movie star. And that's the number one question I always ask Tom.
Who you call Uncle, by the way.
Uncle,
just saying.
Yeah,
just
I call
saying.
Uncle, like, he in my phone as Uncle.
Uncle something. Up. It's a secret. Okay.
It's a secret. I can't say it, but he's in my phone. And he loves it too when I call him Uncle. But I always have questions. I like to pick his brain. I always like to, hey, so why did you do this? Why did you pick this role? Why did you, you know, and he's generous enough to just answer. And I would text him at night, yo, Tom, I was just watching this phone. I was just watching your movie. Why did you make this choice in the scene? What really happened? Because I feel like something that he'll explain it. But I ask him, how did he become a movie star? Because I want to be a movie star. I'm on the journey to be a movie star.
For the right reasons, I have to say, I feel, but go ahead.
What you about to say?
You want to be a movie star for the right reasons.
Oh, yes.
There's some people who want it for other reasons, but you want to do it for the right reasons. But go ahead.
Yeah. So,
okay. So
I ask him all the time, like, what does it take to be a movie star? How did you get to where you are? And he's given me some tips over the years. We've been working together for 8 years, and I'm just learning so much from him.
You still have that thirst to learn. Never lose that, Tarzan. But you also have the thirst to help others learn, and I really, really like that. Trevor, you have any more questions that you're thinking about as your career gets going?
I'm just amazed by just the growth of everything. I didn't even know you were in the movie, so it's just like it's even just going back and like, oh, he was in this other movie. He was in this other movie. I need to go watch that. So it's just crazy just to see the growth, and I just wish you the best with everything. Like, I don't have any questions as of right now, but
we created a fan.
Later on,
we created a fan last night. Okay, so Trevor works with the Restaurant Association. So, questions for you. Okay, New Orleans, your favorite food?
I love po' boys.
Po' boys. Okay.
Yes.
Your favorite type po' boy?
I love hot sausage po' boy, or I get a fried oyster po' boy.
Favorite restaurant here in New Orleans?
Let's see.
I love the way you don't even have to think. You're just rattling.
Yeah, no, I really like Oceana's. But I'm gonna say my favorite restaurant is my mama house. That's the favorite.
That's the right answer.
That's the right. I'm always getting a text. All right, we about to make you this. Is there anything else you want me to make before you leave? And I'm like, you good, mama. You know what you're doing.
Favorite festival?
Was it Mardi Gras, or would I say Essence? Yeah. I would say Essence Festival, because I had so many experiences in Essence Festival, because I used to work the State Farm booth every year.
You did?
They paid a lot of money. They were like paying $30 an hour. I was like, ka-ching.
Yes. But then did you go to the forums, and did you go see some of the concerts and stuff?
The best part, let me tell you, the best part about this, every time I would work there, and we work with different celebrities, and I would just say, I'm gonna be there one day. Like, I'm gonna get invited one day to, the Essence Festival to come talk and da-da-da-da. But and I did 2 years ago. I got invited, and that was dope.
You were one of the people on the stage in one of the forums.
Yeah, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. It's just those full circle.
Come on, Tarzan.
It's just those full circle moments of like, just seeing something and saying, hey, I want that.
Why do you think you knew that? I have a friend, Amir Baraka, who is acting, and he had a tough life from the beginning, fell into, you know, the crime thing, but he said, I'm going to teach in prison, he said, I'm going to teach myself to read, and one day I'm going to be around the world, Oprah's going to interview me, and he just had this vision, and he's done all that. How did you, I don't understand, like, where does that come, like, tell me,
hold
tell
on,
me.
Hearing stories like that really excites me, because it reinforces my choices, my life. I say my life is a big manifestation, because I've literally manifested everything in my life. So to hear somebody else is doing the exact same thing, I'm like, this is not a fluke. Everybody does it, you know? And it all it really takes, the mind is a powerful thing. And if you really set that, I have vision boards, I journal every morning, I wake up, I meditate, you know.
Dude. Really? No, I didn't know you vision boards. No, I'm learning something new about you.
Yeah.
No, I don't have vision boards. I dream, but you know.
Listen, when I started this journey as an actor, I was like, I need to get my mind right, and I highly recommend everybody, like, get your mind. Your mind is the most powerful thing, and that's what's going to tell you if you succeed or not. And
set goals.
I set goals. Yeah, you know, I have a group. We call it a 12-week year. We do like weekly check-ins to see if we're accomplishing our goals and stuff like that. That's aside, but I journal every morning. I meditate every morning. You know, I check my vision boards. And I keep those goals in my mind at all times. And it goes into your subconscious. Then eventually, when you look up, you're like, oh, I accomplished that, and you don't even realize you did. Yeah.
I'm just so impressed by you. Here you are in your early 30s, and you have the wisdom of someone who's lived a lot longer. You really do. Okay, I want to know, because we were talking about how I love fitness, and I didn't get into it until I was older. So you are clearly really fit, and since the last time I interviewed you, you just seem like you're buff, you're bigger. Do you have like people now? People, come on, Tarzan. People who like give you a workout routine, a meal plan, so that you can look the role, because you gotta only play the role, you gotta look the role. All right, tell me.
Yeah.
Come on.
First off, shout out to you for doing CrossFit 7 days a freaking week. I'm not even doing that.
Well, some would call that mental issues, but anyway.
And those are people who are not strong enough to survive in this world that's challenging. God dang it.
Thank you, Tarzan. What's your fitness routine?
So when you're doing these movies, like a Mission Impossible, they have the budget to pay for like trainers and the meal preps and all that. I'm not saying I'm a huge fan of eating all the healthy stuff, but you have to. But I was
sausage, poor boy.
No, I'm not even. So when I'm filming, I go on a strict diet, and so they make my meals morning, evening, night. So I have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 5 days a week, and then on the weekend I have to like stay within my, reason of my junk food. And I do have a trainer where I'm working out 2 times a day, Monday through Friday as well.
2 times a day? Weights and cardio?
No, so I don't do much weights anymore, because I was doing it and I just explode. Like I bulk up really, really quick. So it's more so like body weight workouts and a lot of boxing and stuff like that.
Oh, lucky genetic club, lucky DNA club. You put on muscle easily. Oh no, As someone who doesn't, that's cool. That's cool. But don't ever say, well, in the movies and they have people for us. Look, that is your job. It's just like an NFL player. Your job depends on your ability to do the role, to have the energy, to not only look the role, but to physically. That was a physical. I mean, I know y'all really aren't saving the world, but to us, you were saving the world. I mean,
I would say
that's great.
The things that happens in these films, like this huge fight scene. That was my first fight scene on camera, and that was intense. I didn't realize how demanding that takes, because you're not just doing it one time. You say, okay, we got it. No, you're doing it all day. So they dedicate days to us. So I want to say I had 3 days to film my scenes, and it's like from the time we get there at 8 until we wrap at 8 p.m. and it's just you and the other person. You're just going at it. So it takes a lot.
And they're choreographed and they're very physical. Yeah. So, all right. So before we wrap up, anything else you wanted to say? And Trevor, anything else you wanted to ask? Any New Orleans question? Come on, Trevor. You're a New Orleans boy. Anything you wanted to ask?
Any New Orleans questions? I really want to know, like, do you have a favorite scene or a favorite scene that you did, or something that you wanted to do that didn't happen, or a place that you wanted to visit during this movie or this process that you didn't actually get to go to, or stuff like that?
Man, we were supposed to film, and so Mission is so great, and what you look forward to is when you get the script, you're like, okay, what are the locations we're gonna film at? Because Mission is known for filming on locations, so we're like, where are you gonna film? And there was 2 locations that we didn't get to go to where we were supposed to, which was Vietnam and Brazil. We were supposed to film out there, and we were all excited. We started looking at what we're gonna do, what can, in these different locations. That's what we always do. And then it was like, oh, pivot, story change. We can't make it out there because of whatever was going on. And I was gutted. I was upset.
Yeah,
we all were upset.
You were ready for it.
I was ready.
You know what else I love about you is you love your sister. She's here in the studio. She's beautiful, by the way. And you bring her with you, and that's cool. That's New Orleans too. We love our family members.
Keep your family close. Keep your friends close. Like I hire some. First off, shout out to my videographer Gabe Phoenix. He's if you check my social media, he has really been getting me right. He's from New Orleans. He's a very talented individual when it comes down to the camera and editing. And I like to keep that in house. You know what I mean? Because not many people are going to say, hey, you from New Orleans, come on, let me, they're not really looking. So when one of us eat, we all eat, and I try to do that.
When one of us eats, we all eat. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Okay. I'm so proud of you. I'm just like a proud mom, although I know you got your mom and them. But anyway, thank you so much. I love you being here.
Thank you for having me.
Now, a final thought. We often have major music and movie stars come to New Orleans to perform or shoot films, and they often comment that the people here just leave them alone and treat them the same as everyone else. No one in the Crescent City acts like a paparazzo, chasing people around and interfering with their lives. Well, my 5 brothers and I have a theory about that. It's because we have more talent in our garage bands and marching bands and theaters than most places. We are used to being around it, and it comes from our friends, and we treat everyone as if they went to high school with us, and they probably did. And what I have seen in Tarzan is he has never lost that New Orleans down-to-earth spirit, no matter how big of a movie star he has become. And he still has that passion to give other aspiring actors and actresses a hand up. Thanks for joining us on Message Meg. You can email me your thoughts and questions at messagemegshow@gmail.com. And check out Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Take care.